My name is Julian, and I'm a graduate student in the Department of Economics. And my project looks at student course decisions as a function of their expected shocks to their grades. So at a very, very big picture level, why do we care about student majors? Personally, my father is of the opinion that what you major in college has nothing to do with what you do once you graduate. One of many things we disagree on, I guess. Students prepare for a lot of specific careers. With their college careers, we see students in philosophy or economics or students from the business school go on to various different sorts of careers. And on some sort of level, we do want to encourage certain majors for certain students. So an example would be the well-documented and highly debated STEM field loss in the economy right now. A lot of the research that looks at major decisions usually uses the official major declaration. That is, when you're sophomore or junior year, you say that I'm this or that major. I'm trying to say that there are certain problems in using something like this, primarily because since you declare this so late into your college career, there's basically a lot of unobserved changes that are going to happen before you actually declare. And another reason is that since students are going to be undecided at some sort of point, and how they're deciding between different majors, looking at official declarations don't actually get you at that. So what I'm going to be doing here is that I'm going to be looking at the trends of LSA students, switching between what I'm going to be calling inferred majors, and I'm going to infer these majors based on the courses that they take in the transcript data. And as I said before, I'm going to focus on the role of grade shocks to whether or not you change a major throughout time. So I'm going to spend probably 30 seconds talking about grade shocks. The grade shocks are basically the student forms some expectation of how well they're going to do in a certain class or a certain major from one time period to another, and then they're going to get that grade, and then I'm just going to take the difference and call that the expected shock. I have a picture. Okay, so what this is that this is a picture of the probability of staying in the same major between a student's first and fourth year for selected majors here. All I have here is that I have just the sciences and math. So one thing you'll see is that I've kind of just grouped these majors together. LSA alone has, I think, little less than 100 majors, and I don't want to, run you guys blind with 100 lines going around here. And what's plotted on the bottom is the quintile of their first year major GPA. So this is, I say that you're a math major in your first year, and this is going to be the quintile of your GPA performance. First quintile is the lowest, and fifth quintile is the highest. So we see a basic upward trend here, which is consistent with the story that people tend to stay in the majors they tend to do well in. I also have the same graph for other majors, which I'm not going to show here, but they show the same general trend. And as a motivation from this, I'm going to estimate the probability that I did estimate the probability a student changes majors across years as a function of this shock. And what I find that students can be 4 to 6% more likely to switch majors when they receive a negative shock to their expected grade. So in 1 year, I do far worse than I thought I would. There's going to be an increased likelihood of me changing majors in the next period. This effect decreases the longer the student is actually in the major. So a story would be, you're a senior, you are one class away from completing your biology major, and you get a C, which I think is the minimum passing grade, and you say, you know what, I'm about to finish, I'm just gonna take it and go. So that's what this effect is capturing. This effect actually doesn't vary by gender, which is surprising with a lot of stuff out there. I think Huffington Post posted an article recently about students going away from, female students going away from majors which are graded differently. So there's that. Something interesting is that students' recorded withdrawals predicted a decreased likelihood of changing majors across years. So what this says is that after the 2-week drop period, students that do withdraw from classes are actually less likely to change majors in the next year. What seems to be the largest predictor of whether or not you change majors is whether or not you have a pre-college interest in that major. And I predict that there's a 8 to 10% less likely to switch across years if you have a previous interest in that major. And I think I'm out of time. So if you want to come to me, I can talk more about what I'm going to do next and things like that. Thanks.